This is a Ukrainian lecture by Coleman and Jackson O'Brien. Topics we're going to cover today are the pre-conflict history, Ukrainian response, Russia's reasons, and Putin's benefits. History before the conflict. During the time of Soviet Russia, Ukraine had lots of agriculture and industry. Agriculture in Ukraine was one of the main things that kept the Soviet Union above water. Ukraine was expected to use millions of hectares to serve the needs of Russia. Ukrainians also experienced many food shortages because of this. Ukraine also produced massive amounts of pig iron and coal to help fuel the Soviet Union. Without the Ukrainians leading iron production, the Soviet Union most likely would have collapsed. Back in 1922, Ukraine joined the USSR. This happened when the Ukrainian Bolsheviks revolted and defeated the government in Kiev. The Bolsheviks took power and placed Ukraine in Russia's hands in the USSR. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed, allowing Ukraine to withdraw and become independent. This happened because a multi-party system and presidency for Russia was introduced, which destabilized the communist control throughout the Union. Ukraine's response. This section covers how Ukraine has responded to Russia placing troops on the border of Ukraine and the response to Russia taking Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula. In response to Russia supporting pro-Russian rebels who had taken eastern Ukraine forces destroyed a Russian military convoy carrying weapons, ammunition, and other items needed for defense. This was Ukraine's first time to attack Russian forces directly. In November of 2018, Russian forces took over 3 Ukrainian vessels and blocked the Crimean port of Azov, based on the claim that Ukraine had violated Russian waters and that Russia was protecting its access to the Crimean Peninsula and the Black Sea. Ukraine has since sent some military forces to eastern Ukraine, but the attempts were unsuccessful against the Russian-supported separatists. Russia's reasons. Why Russia is invading Ukraine. Now we will cover why Russia has started to invade Ukraine. First of all, Ukraine used to be part of the USSR, which is now disbanded. Russia wants Ukraine so that they will have another country to ally with, and because Ukraine is close by. Another reason why Putin has ordered the invasion of Ukraine is because of how popular it makes him. Many people in Russia and some in Ukraine remember the power that the USSR had, and as someone like Putin is working towards that power, many of the people who remember it will support him. While Ukraine was part of the USSR, they were one of the main suppliers of raw materials to Russia. Ukraine has many natural gas reserves, ore deposits, and petroleum deposits. Putin and many other Russians see Ukraine as part of their own country and would want it to become part of Russia rather than join the EU. Attacks on Ukraine will also prevent the country from joining NATO. Preventing Ukraine from joining NATO is key to make sure that Ukraine will not have any major allies and will allow for Russia to have a less difficult time in taking the country. Putin's benefits. In the past, Ukraine was responsible for providing Russia with heavy equipment. This was mostly comprised of construction equipment, but also some mining tools. They mostly supplied things like cranes and large bulldozers, like the one seen in the picture above. In the bottom picture, which is a little hard to see, there are red and blue arrows and multiple squares, ellipses, and triangles scattered about. Most of the ellipses, which are gas fields, are located on the Ukraine-Russian border. This means that if Putin succeeds, he would gain access to large amounts of potential fossil fuels, which would boost their economy in Russia. Lastly, Putin's attacks have boosted his popularity. By pushing for these attacks, Putin is viewed by his people as a true Russian patriot. If more and more people in Russia view him as a patriot for them and support him, Putin will increase his chance at being elected, which also means that Putin can coerce Russian parliament to make laws so he can serve longer and run again.